Hey, this is Matt Urtz, the Madison County historian. We are still working to document how the COVID-19 pandemic has impacted different businesses, people, organizations. And today we are talking to two of the co-owners of the Brewster Inn, Stephen Franks, who is the chef, and Caitlin Gambee, who operates the front end portion of the building of the inn. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yep, thank you.
So I think most people kind of know what the Brewster Inn is, but kind of explain all the things that the Brewster Inn is, because you're fine dining, but you have some other things you do.
Well, we're mainly known for our dining. We have excellent rooms overlooking Casanova Lake. It's a 3.5 acre property with great views and, fine dining. We also have a fish market and a gift shop. So it's almost like a resort.
So, and we just want people to have perspective. So 100 years when they watch this, they go, man, what was that place? So for when did COVID kind of first appear on your guys' radar?
I mean,
mid-February?
I was going to say mid-February. We kind of had been watching, Stephen will say that it was very much like a 9/11 moment for him. And, once he said that, I felt the same. That it was that whole week, we just couldn't stop staring at the TV. A new announcement would happen every single day, and we could sort of see coming down the pipeline that restaurants were going to be affected in a real profound way.
So March 11th is the night for a lot of people kind of got real. That's the night the NBA started canceling games. A lot of the school districts started to close. That was a Wednesday. That Friday, a lot of the school districts started to make announcements. And I think the 16th was that Monday. That's when everybody went to half capacity. So talk about that process, because you're like everybody else. We get the notice from a press conference, and now we have to figure it out.
Well, the nice thing about this place is we're a large mansion, and even at half capacity, we could still seat 90 people at a time. And so it wasn't a huge hit for us the first day. It was like a, hey, what's going on type thing. But customers were still coming in. It was a pretty good day that day. And then the next day when we had closed, that was like huge. We immediately transitioned over to doing takeout food. It was just crazy.
And I think it's changing up, and you could probably talk more about this, but changing up all of the product in-house, because, we go from running the night before, fine dining menu, to all of a sudden the new takeout menu is meatloaf and chicken tenders, and there's a lot of product that was in-house that we kind of had to still move through, but also launch this new menu. So that was sort of an interesting challenge for us as well. And then, from the front of the house side, we had to retrain. We had to come up with a whole new system on how we were going to do the takeouts. And you'd think it would be an easy transition from a dine-in restaurant to a takeout restaurant, but there was definitely a lot of hiccups along the way, and definitely a big learning curve for sure.
Well, and everyone had to do that. We talked to a veterinarian who talked about having to figure out how to get animals from the car into the building. In that process, it wasn't, and she joked, eventually they numbered their parking spots, and she went, I don't know why we didn't do that at the beginning, because all you have to do is say I'm in spot 16 and you're good. But for 3 months, we had to go find the red car.
I think you're a little bit in denial too on some of it. I mean, Stephen was really good early on making sure that we had enough product in house, and he was buying masks and just getting us kind of ready. Whereas I was like, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. This isn't going to last too long. And, I'm glad we kind of went with his train of thought on that one.
So talk about that process. So you guys are fine dining, and what made you switch the menu to, we'll call it more casual dining?
Well, I mean, we have our perishable items in house is probably around $20,000, which is a lot of money for us, and so if we're just going to shut down, well, we have to get rid of that food, but how are you going to get rid of it? So we had to come up with unique ways on how we were able to sell it differently than doing a rare piece of tuna to go, or calamari, which doesn't travel well. And then we just found out new different ways. We made calamari salad. We made, did some other things that were able to get rid of the product. And then once food to go took off, it got crazy. People were, and then the market itself was crazy too. Our market typically went up 300% in volume for the over-the-counter market. People come in and using us as grocery stores. They didn't want to go to the store because there's too many people there, so they can pull in our parking lot and we bring food out to their car, lettuce, eggs, toilet paper. It was pretty crazy.
Did you guys set up like an online ordering setup, or was it all by phone?
We really didn't advertise anything. It just kind of, right as everything happened, we sort of got this overwhelming response of just emails, letters, texts, people saying that they didn't really know what to do, but they wanted to support the Brewster. I mean, we had people come in and just say, I'm here to buy something, and people just wanted to support the Brewster Inn in any way they possibly could. And then once they found out that the market was still, fully operational, I'd start getting text messages of, what do you have as far as produce goes? What do you have as far as meats and cheeses go? And then we would just build these, care packages. And it was right around the same time that we started doing delivery. So I was doing a lot of delivery as well. And we'd, drop them off at people's houses and do that whole thing. So, yeah.
Getting back to the menu, what made you choose what you chose? Beyond, obviously, I know you said you guys had food that you were trying to get rid of, but once you go through that process, what makes you go meatloaf and chicken tender? Because it's comfort food, or because it's
Absolutely.
easy?
Yeah, we went towards foods, one, that would travel well, and two, we're just trying to feed people. The stock market was crashing. Everyone's out of work. Unemployment wasn't fixed up yet where people were getting tons of money. And we just built our menu around feeding the masses. Hey, you can come here, you can get a typical dinner that would have cost you $50. Now you're getting dinner for $4 for $50, and so we were just trying to be, make life a little easier for everybody.
Yeah. I think we really wanted to do something that gave back to the community as well. It wasn't, I remember we'd go into our weekly meetings and we just talk about how now really isn't the time to try and be turning a huge profit. We just want to do something that, keeps us busy, keeps our staff busy, and, does a service to the community, because they're going through some stuff too. And they really want to support us as well.
Did you have any supply chain logistical issues? I know some of the other restaurants we've talked to have said proteins became very hard to get.
It definitely was a roller coaster for sure, because, when processing for restaurants is different than processing for stores. And when all the restaurants closed, there was a huge abundance of restaurant foods on the market that, so prices went way down for a little while and they went way up, and it was just a huge roller coaster week by week. Okay. But we just changed our menu. We saw, hey, hamburger went up to $5.50 a pound. We're like, okay, well, guess we're not going to do a meatloaf this week. We'll do roasted turkey and something else. We just kept changing with the punches.
Yeah, I think one of the restaurants we talked to ended up grinding all their sirloin, because they said we weren't selling steaks. So we said, everybody wants a burger, we'll make burgers.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, that adaptation has been pretty common across. What about the Inn? Was the Inn actually forced to close?
So the Inn was never forced to close. And a lot of people actually asked that question. It was just that there was, all sorts of, no one was traveling. So, even though we had rooms open, I think our sales for April for rooms were like $200. I maybe had one person spend the night during that whole time. So we used it as an opportunity to kind of, just shut down. We shut down one of the buildings. So the main house where the restaurant is. And then we kept open the carriage house in case we really got any room rentals, which we didn't. And then we started doing all sorts of projects. So any like painting, getting rid of wallpaper, doing like minor fixes around the property. That's when we kind of did all of that over March and April.
Okay. Talk about the reopening process. So roughly the beginning, middle of June, you guys were able to open to 50% capacity?
Yep. So with like no notice at all, the governor says, hey, guess what? Restaurants can now open at half occupancy. And so now outside only at first. Yep. So we had, because we were already open, we were already doing takeout. It wasn't a hard transition, but it was a pain in the butt, because trying to get everyone wanted to go out, so everyone's calling us, they're calling us, we haven't even told them when we're open yet. And phone lines were crazy, but, just getting the staff in here, getting everyone going was quite the challenge.
Yeah, completely different protocol for the tables. Right now we have people that are working that their whole job the entire night is to touch and sanitize as many surfaces as possible. It's a totally different operation. When a table gets up, the table and all the chairs are sanitized, and then before the next table sits down, everything is redone. So it's definitely a lot more manpower going into dinner service. Nothing is set on the table at all. So it's definitely a labor intensive process.
Have you had to add more staff because of that?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we pretty much doubled our busing / food runners, because right now we're on the lawn. So it used to be in the dining room or on the terrace. Now all the dining is on the lawn. So you actually have 2 new food runners. So they just run food. Those are new positions. And then the other bussers have doubled also, because everything's outside. So if you need it, it's all the way in here. It's a long haul.
Have you found that people are eating differently since it's reopened?
I don't think so.
No,
I mean, we're not doing the meatloaf anymore, but I still get a few requests for it once in a while. It was good.
No,
Well,
it really was
you mentioned the comfort food. I just wasn't sure if you found, some people have found that they've only sold comfort food since stuff is reopened, because that seemed to be what people want. But every place is different.
Yeah, we're immediately back to the tuna and calamari and all those high-end items that are hard to get.
But we are finding that the takeout is still pretty steady. I mean, for us, we'd maybe do 2 to 3 dinners of takeout a night previously. And now I think we're doing around, 50 dinners every night for takeout, and the restaurant is still busy as well.
How are you guys backlogged in terms of how many people are coming? Do you have like a waiting list at all or anything like that?
We do sell out dinner pretty much every night just because of the half capacity. So whereas we used to be a little more flexible with walk-in customers, right now we are running wait lists almost every night if we run out of tables.
Do you still have any logistical issues with getting any types of food?
Right now, there's no issues with food coming in. It's pretty much I think like right now, latex gloves are hard to get. So that's been like all the protective wear. But for the most part, all the meats, all that stuff is leveled out.
Okay.
So
are you still selling a lot through the market, the deli?
Yes, the market is still up quite a bit. Pretty close to 300% from what it used to be this time of year.
Okay. And that is just steaks? Is that because you said you got vegetables and stuff? Is that still everything, or is it back to steaks and fish stuff?
Just basically steaks and fish stuff, and then some like cold packaged meals and stuff like that.
Okay. What about the inn? Have you seen your numbers go back up there, or not really?
Not quite up to regular levels yet.
No,
so
we should be a lot higher.
So we're about 50%, where we used to be like 70% occupied.
How will COVID change how you do business in the future?
It's still changing.
So, yeah, it's still changing.
Well,
yeah.
The example I give is I don't know if either of you have kids, but kids will forever know how to wash their hands because of COVID-19, because we've all been just inundated with how to wash your hands. So that's the one example I give of when people come out of this. Will it change just how you guys even clean tables from this point forward?
Pretty much change how we do every part of dinner service, from in the kitchen all the way through till the customer leaves, and then the next day again, so everything has changed for us.
Okay. Is there anything you'd like to say to the folks at Cazenovia and everyone that comes to visit you at the Brewster Inn?
I just need to thank them for their support. Without them, we wouldn't be here, and our employees, and they're all family to me. So it's like I treat every one of them like they're, brother, sister, or child for the most part.
Yeah.
I concur. No, I mean, I really do agree. Everyone has been really good. This has been a complete learning process for us. I mean, the Brewster Inn has been around for a long time, but I always like to remind people we're, as an ownership team, that's only been since 2017. And so this is one of the biggest challenges that we've ever faced as business owners, and probably a lot of other business owners are saying the same thing. But, as Stephen was saying, things change daily. So we really are, we kind of decided a long time ago to just let there be that level of transparency and that we let our customers know exactly where we're at and exactly how we're doing. And they've been really, really wonderful in supporting us along the way.
Just real quick, do you guys have either support groups or restaurant type message boards or anything like that you talk to bounce ideas off of, or is it all in-house?
It's in-house, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I have got a couple group texts going with other people in the industry, and just kind of, we just talk about the challenges going on right now. Some of it is a little more joking around, and some of it's a little more serious, but yeah, we're all, the industry's kind of coming together, and we're all trying to get through it together for sure.
Okay. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us today. I know you guys got to go get moving and start prepping for your next stuff. We appreciate it. And maybe down the road, we'll talk when things are a little better, or if not, we'll talk about how you're still adapting.
Sounds good.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.